how to use automatic heartline generator. It's a program, many of you have probably heard of it before. It's called AHG. Right here I have, well here, let me tell you some stats about automatic heartline generator. This is what it looks like. Let me minimize all this stuff. Oh, here, let me play. Let's get some music on here. Alright, so you got your segments, you got some general things. Segments, you got your heartline, V in, V out, which is basically, these two basically mean speed, how fast it's going. How fast it is going at the start of the ride, how fast it is going at the end of the ride, before the brake run, or before it stops. Precision is basically, basically you can just highlight over it and it will tell you what to do. But precision is basically precise how the ride is, like smoothness wise. Filter is actually, precision and filter are basically backwards. Filter, what it does is it goes through many times, it filters it through as many times as you specify here, and it makes sure all the bankings are correct and that everything is in check and in order. This stuff right here, it will enter itself, so don't worry about that. The only thing you have to worry about this is right here in this corner, and some of this stuff right here. I mean, basically all of this. Now you can use my settings that I have here: 300, 6, 100, 100. These two basically depend on your ride. Okay, I'm going to show you how to determine what you need, how many of it that you need. But first, I made a small little ride here. It's just a small little kitty intimate ride. It's got a launch, goes around, comes back, just like a normal one. So, we have our track, and we're ready. It's basically as smooth as you can get it. It's probably not as smooth as I can get it, but it's as smooth as you can. So you highlight all the segments that you need. Now this is important. You may not highlight the station, this, okay, the launch, the lift, or whatever the heck you're trying to do. Highlight. What I'm going to show you to do is how to just highlight all these things from here down to here. Okay, so you basically highlight, you just left click on your mouse and drag this little yellow box over all the segments that you need. And you stop at the mid-course brake run if you have one. Otherwise you could have just highlighted the whole rest of the ride. So you have this, and I'm just going to save it as, you're going to go into Save Element after you highlight all that. And of course it's going to bring you elements, and you're going to save it as new track, whatever your track name is. Let's say it's Kitty, and then put part 1, or how many parts you're going to have. Depends how many mid-course brake runs you have, or launches. So we're going to put Kitty part 1. Okay, this is just going to highlight all this right here, and this will be our second part. Save element, Kitty, part, let's name this 2. Okay, so I'd keep this open. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to need to open up another window, or you could use the same one, but I prefer you opening 2. And when you open up this one, of course, you're going to have all this. Now, I recommend throwing this up here and keeping it in the middle. This way, your track can freely go down without squishing itself or making any kind of restrictions on the track. So, we're going to have this here, and you're going to hit Insert Element right up here in File, Insert Element. Then you're just going to search for your half ride. You're going to go Kitty Part 1. And then you want to keep it at 100, otherwise it will mess up the ride. Okay, 100%, which is regular. Okay, mirror is just backwards, the other way, which is probably what you don't want. Okay, so you're going to hit OK. Oh, excuse me. And you're going to have this as your ride. Okay, so right now it's going to open up as a different track, but it doesn't really matter. It's still intimate, as long as you know it's an intimate ride. Hyper 2-seat. Right here is where the launch would be, and then this would be the end. Of course, it would go down and over, and right there is where the mid-course brake run is. Now, this is important. This is one of the many things that you have to know about this program. Everything has to be very precise, except for the speed. Speeds, I usually leave at 100. Okay, so you're going to determine how many segments you're going to use to smoothen this one out. You would go into coaster settings, coaster statistics, and you're going to maximize the X and minimize the Y axes, and you're going to find the length in feet. So you have 450 feet. So 1,000 feet, I'd give it 100 segments. 400 feet, which is about 450, which is about 500 feet, which is half 1,000. I put somewhere around 40 segments. So if you want to just type in 40 segments. Alright. This part is pretty easy though. Heartline, it just really depends on what hyper you're using. Flawless, stand up, and they have all that stuff here. So you're going to go into hyper, and you're going to find, okay, you got 2 seated, which is the Intamin. So 1.1. So you're going to come over here, and you're going to type in 1.1. Oops, not 4. 1.1. Alright? And you're just going to minimize that for now, which is this gray button. Now, this is a pretty important thing that everyone gets confused about. I even get confused about, until I seriously took almost 4 days, almost a week, trying to figure this program out by looking at every tutorial that was out. And they weren't really descriptive as I'm trying to be right now. They always use Notepad or something, and they'd write it down and whatnot. It's just pretty annoying just trying to read it, and they got really low quality. So I decided to make a voice tutorial, of course. So what you're going to do is you're going to automatically, first of all, you're going to highlight your first 2 right here. The ending and the beginning of the ride. Okay? You're going to take those and you're going to go for main track color, and you want to color it pure black. Okay? That will keep the bankings pretty much the same at the end. This way, when it enters the ride, it isn't like at a 90-degree angle or something, and it just throws the ride off track or something. It kind of just leaves the bankings and G's the same. Alright, so now right here we have a churn. Now the banking's probably not as good as I'll try to go down right here. It goes boom like this, and it's kind of good. It's probably not the best. But I'll show you how AHG will actually turn that into something so smooth that you'll think an angel carved it, which is pretty literal. You're going to take it, and red, pretty much, it just smoothens it out. It doesn't really change anything to bankings. I usually use green. Green sounds green, pure green right here. It's not in any of the 4 other ones, it's actually right here. And you're going to hit OK for the main track color, and hit OK. Alright, now that you have all that set up, you have your 2 black and your green, or however the whole track is, basically. Now, I must warn you, if it's a hill, oh gosh, where's my track? There it goes. Okay, if it's a bunny hop, or like airtime hill, or something like that, the hill has to be colored black, otherwise it will turn it into a barrel roll out of nowhere, or we'll give it like a little bit of bank or something. You want to keep it black. Anything that pulls negative G's. That means anything that goes on a hill, any tight churns, helixes maybe, drops, anything that pulls like a negative G's. Okay, so what you're going to do now, okay, hold on, there's something else to add to that, is that some inversions don't need to be colored at all. Sometimes if you play around with it for a little bit, and you go through the first run of AHG, which I'm going to show you how to do in a second here, and you go look at the track, and it kind of looks pretty bad. I mean, pretty horrible. It will get pretty bad. And you're kind of like, well, how come the loop goes in a complete 180-degree turn instead of staying upside down? Well, it's because it's not supposed to be colored a color. If you would not just color it just nothing at all, it would probably be fixed probably way better.